It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., where I'll be headed this afternoon. And this is CarEdge Live with your hosts, me, Ray, and, well, that handsome young man wearing just a stunning blue ball cap, my son, Zach. How are you today, handsome?
I'm doing pretty good, Pops. Happy Friday. Grateful to be with you here on this Friday the 14th. Folks, today's show, we have a sponsor, our friends over at Delete Me. That being said, we'll talk about them in about 5 to 10 minutes. First and foremost, CarEdge.com. My dad and I started this company over 5.5 years ago. The whole purpose behind CarEdge, why we do this show, why we built the website, it's all to help you have a better car buying experience. Please, folks, if we can help you with anything, or if you know someone who's in the market, check it out, CarEdge.com. Dad, the big story this morning, where I want to kick things off, is with the latest and greatest data on new car inventory. We have just hot off the presses yesterday from Cox Automotive, the latest data on the state of new car inventory, up 2.2% month over month, Dad. We are at 2.99 million vehicles in inventory, an 89-day supply, and an average listing price for new cars in the United States of America of $48,316. This inventory number is high, Dad. It's right at 3 million. It didn't used to be this way.
I think I know why.
What's going on?
Well, the average listing price is $48,316. That's why the inventory is growing. Okay, let me help these fools. You can't have an average listing price of $48,316 and think that your total monthly inventory is going to go down. I don't think that inventory number goes down till, say, I don't know, maybe the average listing price becomes $39,000. I mean, there is a correlation there, and it doesn't take a genius to figure it out. I don't get it.
For sure. And this is a story we've been talking about for a long, long time. To take you down memory road, friends, back in this is February or March of 2023, we were at 1.8 million vehicles in inventory, a 57-day supply, and still an elevated $47,000 listing price, Dad. But obviously, we've got more than $1 million vehicles,
less than it is today.
Yeah, and 1 million more vehicles in inventory today, which obviously puts pressure on these car dealers and the automakers to transact.
You would think, and I know that everybody is expecting incentives to continue to increase. I know we are. And the reason the incentives have to continue to increase is because the average listing price keeps increasing. So even if incentives went up $700 or $800 over what they were, well, last year, it's still not enough. There's just a need for manufacturers to be producing more lower priced vehicles. We understand that there is a very, very small percentage of people who can afford to purchase $100,000+ vehicles and are doing so at record numbers. But that still doesn't address the fact that the vast majority of people need to find vehicles under $40,000. Probably the vast majority would love to be able to find good quality vehicles under $30,000. And until that average asking price or listing price drops significantly, I don't see how inventory levels are going to be dropping anytime soon. So elevated inventory levels typically lead to elevated incentives in an attempt to try and move some of that inventory. But the average asking prices are so damn high that even with larger incentives, it's not going to matter. You can't attract enough people.
Dad, I want to take us down memory lane here. Okay. We're back in April of 2020, folks. The number of new vehicles in inventory closed the month at more than 3.7 million units after a 38% decline in sales for the month. The days supply in March back in 2020 was 94 days. So look at this. We're actually almost back from a days supply perspective
Yes.
to where we were, because the days supply again right now is 89 days, but there were another 800,000, 700 to 800,000 new cars in inventory back then.
So what does that tell you? Okay, there were 700,000 more vehicles in inventory, and those 700,000 vehicles only added 5 days to the day's supply. Okay, so that indicates to me that the reason the day supply today is at 89 when you're at 3 million vehicles is because they're too damn expensive.
Dan says it right here. Demand is soft. That's why we are seeing a higher days supply right now. Even though inventories are up, they're still not back to where they were pre-pandemic, because fewer people are choosing to buy these vehicles. These dealers are drowning in inventory, Dad. That is not an over-exaggeration. And it does look different based on the automaker. We spend a lot of time talking about this to help make sure you feel empowered and informed if you do go to purchase a vehicle. The brand that has seen the biggest increase in their level of drowning is Hyundai, Dad. Hyundai's gained the most days supply, up 38 days year over year, while Jeep and Ram have dropped the most, down 54 and 56 days respectively. So it is really interesting to see here. Hyundai is actually the brand that is in the most trouble right now relative to where they were a year ago in terms of an oversupply of inventory.
But theirs on an average asking price are at the lower end. They have been having record sales, volume sales, month after month after month, and they have dramatically increased their incentives on top of it. So what that shows me is they can handle a larger day supply because they are selling their vehicles. They have broadened to a degree the customer base that they are trying to appeal to, as opposed to some of the other manufacturers out there who have just narrowed that customer swath that they're trying to appeal to.
And let's take a peek at that, Pops. The data right here shows that clearly. Look which brand is highest in terms of days supply on this chart. Mini is off of the chart because they have too high a day's supply, but it's Ford. Look at that, Dad. Ford is in the last place position, the worst position here, with the exception of Mini. That's a damning indictment on Ford. They have the highest market days supply in the automotive industry. We had a Ford dealer on with us. What was it, on Tuesday of this week? Wednesday of this week. I mean, you heard Julian on Wednesday, folks. If you listen to our show, we're a volume dealer again now, and no wonder Ford went up market, and now they're paying the price.
I think the way Julian phrased it is we're chasing volume, not profit. That's the key. That's the secret. And if Ford literally has a 138-day supply of vehicles, they are signaling to their dealers to do exactly what Julian said they're doing at J.C. Lewis, which is chasing volume, not profit. Okay. They will hope to profit in other departments while they're chasing the volume that they need on the new car side to help alleviate the excess inventory they have. It's almost as if some of these manufacturers have just decided they're not going to pay attention to the market. They don't care what people want. They don't care what people can afford, and they don't care how they burden their dealer body with excess inventory. It's a unique situation, to say the least.
We happen to care, folks, because data brokers, they're out there and they're selling your data online. And that's why we got to take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's program, our friends over at Delete Me. Delete Me, Dad, has been a longtime sponsor of our program because they help protect things like your phone number, social security number, home address, and more, which are frequently sold online by marketers, scammers, and everyone in between. The reason we use Delete Me, Dad, is because it helps us take control over our data. And Delete Me removes your personal information from hundreds of data brokers on your behalf. For the CarEdge community, Pops, we're able to offer a 20% off coupon with the code CarEdge, or you can click on the link in the top of the description. That'll automatically apply. Just go to joindeleteme.com/ CarEdge. Again, my dad and I both use Delete Me. Protects our personal information online. And we thank and appreciate Delete Me's continued support of our show.
Absolutely. And we want to stick it to as many of those scammers and data brokers that we can.
Yeah, we're sticking it to you. Dad, we're going to go to the CarEdge machine in a moment. Before we do, Igor in the chat. Zach, that's what they want for days supply now. OEMs want to have 3.5 million cars on the ground. And Igor then calling out stair-step programs are what we might see in the future.
Well, but here's... God, what short memories every one of these manufacturers have. It was barely 2 years ago, or maybe 2.5 years ago, when there were shortages, and the manufacturers all suggested the days of carrying tremendous amounts of inventory are over. We want to convert our buyers into people who actually order their cars. We're not going to produce the cars until they're ordered. We have figured out a better way where it's better for us as the manufacturer, it's better for the dealer, and ultimately it'll be better for the customer. And so we are going to artificially constrain what it is that we produce so that we never get back to those volume levels again. That's what every one of these damn manufacturers was saying 2.5 years ago. I'll ask the question, what happened? What was the fly in the ointment? Okay. It was like, you can't learn a lesson. You just can't. You refuse to do it. I'm sorry. I'll be good now.
Hey, Pops, I want to go to the CarEdge machine and I want to look at the inventory situation and see what's going on the ground. That being said, from our community, let us know what areas of the United States you want to see us look up particular inventory levels, and we will come here over on the CarEdge Car Search and we will do that. Pops, let's start you and me. We just mentioned and we just looked at the latest data that we have. And again, it shows both that Hyundai has seen the biggest year-over-year increase in their days supply, and Ford is the largest, or kind of in the worst position, tied with Buick in terms of days supply. So let's come over to the CarEdge machine. Where in the United States do you want to go, Pops? And do you want to look at a Ford? Do you want to look at a Hyundai? What do we want to look at here?
Well, we can do my area, because I drove by the Hyundai dealership yesterday, and they were loaded up with cars.
All right, Pops, what is your zip code? Like 08?
08406.
All right, and then we're going to go to Hyundai. Give that a second. All right, so nationwide, there are almost 250,000 new Hyundais for sale. Remember when the Palisade was selling over MSRP?
Yes.
All right, so we'll open one of those up.
Not anymore.
Please. I don't know. We're about to find out. All right, let's see. Do we really not? There we go. It's loading. 164 days supply, Dad. In your area, there are 288 within 100 miles of you. 288. What trim level was this? Hyundai Palisade Calligraphy Night Editions for sale. Yet only 79 have sold in the last 45 days. That's an oversupply.
I would say so. And if I may, I'm not going to help them lower that day supply, because I wouldn't buy one of those, but that's just me.
So that's the Palisade. Let's come back here. Yes. Let's look. Palisade. Oh, what do you, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I don't know that I saw that car when I drove by yesterday, but perhaps if I searched, I could have.
I had a lot of Palisades, man. There's a lot of 2023 Ioniq 6s. What's going on here, Dad?
I don't know. You think you'd want to sell those? I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking about. Why they're thinking they should stack those deep and perhaps lease them cheap. Maybe I need to go take a look at one of those.
Here's a 2025. Let's click on this one. Let's see what the days supply situation is on the 2025 Ioniq 6.
They have cornered the market on LED lights, though. I will tell you that.
Look at this, Dad.
Oh, just a 442-day supply.
108 in inventory.
I bet you I should be able to get a deal.
Dad, there's 108 in inventory, yet only 11 have sold in the last 45 days.
Well, then I should be able to get a deal. What kind of lease programs they got?
Let's look.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We didn't pull any incentives for this particular vehicle. That's a bummer. I'll have
Yeah.
to see if there's something on our end. Dad, that's drowning, right? Like I mean, if you had a 400 plus days supply, what about this? They brought the new Santa Fe into the market. Let's look at this.
Yes.
And there's one theme with all these vehicles so far, Dad. Each one that we've clicked on has an MSRP over $50,000.
Well, you keep clicking on the calligraphy, which is, I'm guessing, their top, because it takes a special art to be able to calligraphy things like that. So
look at that, Dad. 158 days supply.
Yeah. Okay. So they have too many.
All right. Hyundai's drowning in your neck of the woods. Where else are we going, Pops? It looks like we've got Tim. Tim wants us to look at Mazdas in Florida. You ready for that?
Okay. Where in Florida?
I don't know. Where do you want to go?
Miami's a nice area from what I understand.
All right. Give me a second.
I drove through Miami one time.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. We're going zip code 33101.
Portable oxygen concentrator so your mother and I could fly back to wherever we lived at that time.
Let's start with Hyundai and then we'll work our way over to Mazda. Let's just take a quick peek. So this is a much cheaper Hyundai, a $27,000.
It is.
Look at the spread from MSRP to invoice on this vehicle.
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
About $1,100.
Still though, Dad. Come on, guys. This data is incredible.
Well, apparently in Miami, you don't want to be caught dead driving around in a what is that? A Elantra?
An Elantra.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
All right, let's do Mazda.
Yeah, there's no way you can be caught dead driving an Elantra in Miami.
Let's
They'd run me out of town.
New CX-50. We're going to the CX-50.
Yeah.
Wait for it. All right, Dad. $34,000. Invoice is $33,000. Let's see. 123 days supply. Every single vehicle we've clicked on so far, Dad, has over 100 days supply.
Okay. Well, there you have it. It's apparently time for me to get in the market and buy a car and help somebody out somewhere.
Josh wants us to go to Orlando, Dad. Let's go to Orlando. 32828.
When I walk into a dealer to buy a car, I'm going to have all this information with me and say, I am here to help you. You kids can't help. I'm here to help you help yourselves. So you're going to need to take extra special care of me, and I will relieve you of some of your excess inventory.
Dad, there's a Mazda CX-50 in Orlando, 154 days supply.
Oh my God. Well, maybe because now maybe in Orlando and in South Florida and stuff, Mazdas don't sell as well because they're only available in all-wheel drive. And people in Florida figure, well, we don't get snow, so it's not like we need. The only time we need all-wheel drive is, I don't know, when there's a hurricane, perhaps. So, all-wheel drive's not all that important to people there. Maybe that's why.
Maybe,
I'm making stuff up. I'm trying to come up with excuses as to why they have such a huge day supply.
Let's go over to Ford. We know Ford has an incredibly high day supply. Again, we're in Orlando, folks. This is a 2025 Ford Explorer active rear-wheel drive. MSRP $43,705. Invoice price $41,957. 161 days supply, Dad.
Okay, so inventory's going up. You did a story the other day. You pulled up an article the other day about dealer sentiment, and dealers were feeling better about things. I think if you were to do a survey today on customer sentiment, I think you would find it to be the opposite of dealer sentiment. I would bet dollars to donuts, and a lot of those dollars to donuts, that if you were to survey the vast majority of American people today, they would be a little concerned and a little scared about what direction the economy's headed. And so my suspicion would be, because of that fear, that a lot of people that might have been planning to buy something major are thinking twice about it, because they're just not sure of what the present and the future might hold. So I bet you customer confidence, consumer confidence, if someone were to run a survey today, would be down and down quite a bit.
I want to do one more, Pops.
Yeah.
2025 Ford F-250 Super Duty Lariat. This is Ford's strategy, right? Produce 6-figure pickup trucks.
Yes.
$102,729 MSRP, an invoice price of $97,592. Again, folks, we are in Orlando, Florida for this vehicle. Any guess what the day's supply of this 6-figure full-size pickup truck is going to be?
82.
You want to guess again?
No. 82 is my guess. 312 days. Well, maybe that wasn't the area where they hope to be selling those $100,000 plus trucks.
This is your March update for new car inventory in the United States, and dealers are drowning in it. We've gone to multiple locations now.
Yes.
I encourage everyone to use the Magic CarEdge machine as well to get this data for your area. We'll do more if you want on future shows, but holy cow, man. The inventory situation
that's
is
crazy. That is crazy.
From Michael. Thank you, Michael. We appreciate the kind contribution. The Ioniq is one of several autos listed in today's Wall Street Journal article as having grossly impractical and hard to find gear shift controls. Good read. Have to read that article, Dad. Wow.
Well, I would have to subscribe to the Wall Street Journal to read that article, and I won't do that.
Yeah, well, someday maybe we'll find our hands on a copy from Barron. Thank you, Barron. We appreciate it. A dealer should advertise you pre-tariff savings on vehicles. Come in now before the prices go up 4.5 months worth of inventory. You know what? We've actually seen some leading indicators, some publications of leading indicators of like more leads and increased sales because people are kind of falling for this clickbait of you need to go buy a car now before tariffs.
Yes.
To be clear, these dealers have, in most cases, many months worth of inventory before the tariffs would take an impact. Except for we didn't really spend any time on this, except for Toyota and Lexus.
Yes.
I'll pull that up really quickly. Toyota and Lexus have a 40 and 39 days supply, respectively. So in those cases, you don't have 4.5 months to wait until tariffs take an impact. The tariffs are going to impact the next batch of cars that come in 30 days from now.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah. Let's not. I actually don't. I want to have a show not about tariffs, but it's like hypothetically, okay? Hypothetically.
Yeah, hypothetically.
Let's switch gears. Let's switch gears. Let's not.
No, but hypothetically, I might be 6 foot tall one day.
All right, let's keep it moving, Pops. We need to talk about a Florida Hyundai dealership that actually got $3.3 million after they filed a lawsuit against Hyundai. What the heck happened here?
This dealership, which was one of the largest Hyundai dealerships by volume in the country for years and years and years, got into a fight with Hyundai when they were opening Genesis dealerships, and they alleged at one time in 2018 that they were given the right for 2 Genesis dealerships, and apparently Hyundai didn't quite remember that, and so they sued Hyundai for that. Lo and behold, they won that lawsuit too and collected $16 million from Hyundai for like breach of contract. Fast forward to when there was a limited day supply, which isn't the case now, but when there was a limited day supply, and they weren't getting as many cars as some of their competitors, and they started losing sales and sales volume. And they claimed that that Hyundai was discriminating against their dealership with their discretionary allocations that they could give to dealers. And obviously Hyundai said they weren't, and apparently the jury didn't believe Hyundai, but believed the dealership. So if this gets affirmed, this will mean this Universal Hyundai of Orlando in the last 7 years will have made nearly $20 million just from Hyundai corporate in that they have to pay them because, well, they've been found legally liable for it. I mean, it's just, and it really points out to me, the real basis of this article for me was that when manufacturers like to talk about their dealer partners, they're not dealer partners. They look to screw them as quickly as they can, if they can. If you win a lawsuit against them and they get mad at you because you were right and they were wrong and you had the nerve to bring that lawsuit, well, they're going to look for ways to punish you for that. And that's the type of nonsense that manufacturers pull that I love to see them get called out on, like they were in this particular situation. But just imagine having a dealership and knowing that you'll be collecting nearly $20 million from your manufacturer partner because, well, they tried to screw you twice.
That's what I thought when I read it. I thought,
Yeah.
wow, that's a lot of money. And B, partner my Tookus. Yeah, they're not partners. They're suing each other. So anyway, I thought that was very fascinating, especially amidst the Hyundai conversation we're having.
I can't wait to see what Universal Hyundai gets the third time they sue them.
Pops, before we switch gears to our favorite segment of the show, we have a kind contribution from Core Guy. Pops, thank you, Core Guy. A friend of mine in Houston wants to buy a car, but it's here in Maryland. Do you have any advice selecting a third-party shipping company? Also, do you have any advice on buying a car out of state? I'll pull up our guide on that while you're answering this.
Yes, well, we do have a guide on how to buy a car out of state. And, for shipping companies, there are companies out there that you can contract with that can find a transport company for you. And the only thing I will suggest, and whenever you're dealing with transportation companies and they've picked up the vehicle, you have lost 100% control of that vehicle. They could tell you we'll be there Tuesday. They just may never tell you what week that Tuesday is going to be. They've got the car, you've got nothing. There are things that can happen. It can get ugly, but there are legitimate shipping companies out there that can help you. I forget. There was a website that I used to.
I'll make a reference to one. This company just yesterday announced they raised $12 million. CarMax participated in the round. Carpool Logistics. I don't know them at all. I just saw on LinkedIn and CarMax invested. So that gave me some confidence to pull it up here. So they might be one to look at. I asked our team to look at Carpool Logistics. So that's one that just got brought up onto my radar literally yesterday. And I think it's worth sharing with everyone.
Yeah, there you go.
If CarMax is putting millions of dollars in, they must have some validity.
Yes.
I'd hope.
They might even be legitimate. Yes.
All right, let's go to an illegitimate situation. But first.
Really? You have got to be kidding me.
Former used car retailer Vroom agrees to pay $1 million to settle FTC claims. Folks, you may have forgotten about this, but back in July of last year, the FTC alleged Vroom violated 3 of the FTC's rules that lay out regulations for automotive sales and online marketing practices. And now, Dad, Vroom is paying back $1 million to customers who were impacted by this. You can see here, Dad, Vroom, at least this is what the FTC said, misrepresented inspection work done on vehicles it sold, failed to offer consumers timely refunds when it did not deliver vehicles on schedule, and did not make certain of other required disclosures. We have, what was the exact number? I think it's referenced right here. Wait for it. Something like $974,000.
Yeah, going back.
Yeah, where is it? Somewhere on here. $974,000 going back to consumers. That had, I think it was about 20,000 consumers that had purchased from Vroom.
So divide 974,000 by 20,000 and ain't nobody getting a lot of money, but they're getting something. They can go to the drugstore and pick up a pack of chewing gum, perhaps, or maybe get themselves a Starbucks coffee. It is, some of these retailers, and Vroom was one of them, where they misrepresented a lot of the stuff that they were selling. And in some cases, when the state of Texas sued them, they took vehicles that had salvage titles and were selling them like they didn't have salvage titles. They took vehicles that they didn't repair at all and they were selling. It's nice to see, even though Vroom went through bankruptcy and reemerged, that at least some of the money will be going back to the customers who were taken advantage of. But it should never have to come to that. It'd just be nice if dealers and dealer groups operated transparently and honorably and honestly. And I know I'm asking for way too much. I understand that.
Good to see some money, though, going back in the pockets
Yes.
of customers who were impacted. Speaking of putting money back in your pockets, folks, if we can help you out with anything, CarEdge.com. I just want to walk you through briefly what services and solutions we have to offer. First and foremost, Dad, you can click on new and you can get connected to dealers and get your CarEdge buying guide so that you can negotiate the best deal. Click on used and shop for used vehicles. Research takes you to our 100% free research center, which includes free window stickers, free dealer invoice prices, the best deals, which shows you all the current incentives for vehicles. You can see what others have paid, including what our CarEdge concierges, those that buy cars professionally, have been able to get, car calculators, lease deals, and so much more below the fold there as well. So please check that out. What's my car worth? We'll give you actually, Dad, we're going to spend a second on this. It'll show you the value of your vehicle right now, as well as the projected future value of your vehicle. If you put your loan information in there as well, it'll show you when you're going to break even, and it'll give you an estimate for major repair probability and annual maintenance costs. This is also 100% free and back on CarEdge.com. So folks, please, please, please. Oh, I didn't even mention, if you want to skip the dealership and have CarEdge do it all for you, we have negotiation expert in our car buying service. So please, if you can, take a few minutes, spend some time on CarEdge.com and avail yourselves of these resources. Dev Knoll saying window stickers haven't been accurate from what I've seen. Send in the feedback, folks. Please, please, please. We continue to make updates. A big release just went out today to update some things with color. We were getting wrong color on some of the window stickers, so we're updating that. So please send that feedback in or leave comments. We're reviewing them constantly to keep improving these free products and services.
Sounds good to me. Maybe when I'm on the train, I'll be working on that.
All right, we appreciate that. All right, Dad. So you're back here in DC starting tonight. I've got my half marathon tomorrow morning, which I'm hopeful I'll see you during, or at least at some point. And then we're hanging out with your daughter, my sister, all weekend. So it's gonna be really fun.
That is the plan. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Well, we'll be back on Monday then, folks. We'll be side by side, and we look forward to seeing you then. 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern.
Have a great weekend, everybody, and thanks for being here today.
See you, Pops.
See you, handsome.